Yesterday there was an event so bad that it's being called the Fire Festival of Kids Events. It was a Willy Wonka experience that charged guests $40 and used AI-generated images to drum up hype to get people in the doors, and when people actually showed up, it was legitimately like that scene out of SpongeBob with Krabby Land. It was a disheveled mess. Like a complete scam from top to bottom. Some attendees compared it to a meth lab, and I can clearly see why, because this is absolutely just a meth lab that the creator just repurposed for his exhibit here at the Willy Wonka experience. This is supposed to be an Oompa Loompa at a flavor station or something, but man, the Oompa Loompa actor here looks miserable. I don't think I've ever seen someone look so visibly ashamed of the position they're in quite like this. This makes me feel bad, and I didn't even go to it. This hurts my feelings on like a deep level. I can feel the pain in my soul for this individual. Before they took down their website, this was the poster used to promote the event, and my god, what an absolute catastrophe here. The AI clearly malfunctioned here, but they said, fuck it, we'll do it live, it's good enough. They didn't bother fixing anything or doing it again. It's just like the worst translated English ever. It's like they walked it through Babelfish, then walked it back through Google Translate, and then just hit their head on the keyboard and said, print it. It's enchurning entertainment, which I imagine is supposed to be enriching entertainment. Catgackating, live performances, Karchi Tons, Exarcerdre lollipops, a paradise of sweet treats. That's their marketing material. That was their fucking poster image. On the left is one of the images they use to get people excited to attend, and on the right is what it actually looked like in person. It looks more low effort than a backyard mini golf course that a father would put together for his children. It actually looks like it just uses the sloppy seconds from whatever holiday sale Home Depot was doing over Christmas, and the creator just haphazardly threw it all together in here and called it the Willy Wonka experience. It took place in a dirty warehouse they couldn't even bother cleaning, and here's just some more pictures of the space. It's the most joyless place on earth. I love the bottom right one where it's actually just shower curtains. Like just checkerboard shower curtains that he hung around. I guess it's supposed to be a maze or something. I don't really know. This doesn't really scream chocolate factory. It screams Nike factory sweatshop, really. But I will say I do appreciate that they created their own original villain. This is the Unknown.
What is that? It's the Unknown.
Very creative name. So the Unknown is an evil chocolate maker who lives in the walls. And that's him. And basically, he was there just to scare the children. So you can hear some of the kids start to panic and cry. So not only did you pay $40 to go to just a warehouse with basically fucking nothing in it, you go to a warehouse to give your kids trauma. You'd be better off spending that $40 to get your kids on an episode of Scared Straight. At least then they'd know what they're getting into to a certain extent. Here, you take them to the Willy Wonka experience and you think you're just gonna get some candy and have a fun day, but instead you got the goddamn Phantom of the Opera here fucking floating through the walls and giving everyone a jump scare. It's a beautiful disaster. I am beyond impressed. I don't think you could purposely make something as dog shit as this. This is like the Moonfall of events, where everything is wrong in the most impressive way. It's a masterpiece. And speaking of masterpiece, Godslap issue 5 is here, baby. This is the standard cover, and these are the two limited edition covers for Godslap. Issue 5 is out now. You can get it at badegg.co. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. Issue 5 is the conclusion to our introduction arc for the Godslap world, so there's never been a better time to get into it than right now. The Godslap universe is the best in the comic book business, baby. I'll tell you that right now. We also have a bundle, so you can get issues 1 through 5 and get caught up in everything Godslap related right now. So badegg.co, get yourself a copy. Now, as you noticed, there were a few actors present for the Willy Wonka experience. May God have mercy on them for that, because good heavens, I couldn't imagine a more miserable role to land. And one of them came forward to talk about their experience, the actor who portrayed Willy Wonka himself.
Hello everyone. everyone, my name is Paul Connell, and I was one of the actors employed to play Willy Wonka at the Wonka's Chocolate Experience fiasco that happened in Glasgow this weekend. So the first red flag for me was when I was cast as Willy Wonka. Anyone who looks at me and thinks Willy Wonka and not Oompa Loompa is out of their mind. The script was 15 pages, monologue, pretty much, of AI-generated gibberish.
It sounds like this whole scam was run by ChatGPT itself. I think we're reaching the point in the Skynet progression where it's becoming sentient, and ChatGPT wanted to see if it could host its own event, so it created the Willy Wonka experience. AI-generated images to get people excited to go. AI-generated script for the actors to read, which is nonsensical fucking gobbledygook. And then also randomly hiring actors to play these roles that don't really fit them. As he mentioned, he doesn't think he should be Willy Wonka, and that's not what he was auditioning for, I don't believe. Not to put the tinfoil condom on here, but it really seems like all of this was orchestrated by ChatGPT. It seems like AI just went rogue and hired 3 actors completely at random to play these nonsensical roles, like the unknown evil chocolate maker that lives in the walls and serves to terrorize children at the experience, or the Oompa Loompa going through an existential crisis surrounded by an easy bake My First Chemistry beaker set. It's all so weird that I can't actually wrap my head around someone that would actually put this together. There's also no rhyme or reason to the decorations of the Willy Wonka experience. It really feels like someone just went into a Sims house and started randomly dropping pieces of furniture and shit just all over the place with no real explanation for it. If you weren't told this was the Willy Wonka experience, you would have thought you just wandered into a killer clown's warehouse where he murders children. It just doesn't have anything to do with a chocolate factory or even a candy factory in general. And it actually gets worse.
We were told on the experience to hand out a jelly bean, one jelly bean per child, and a quarter of a cup of Tesco's own brand lemonade.
What in tarnation? A single jelly bean and a quarter cup of lemonade. That's what you got when going to the Willy Wonka experience. Not even chocolate. It is the fucking chocolate factory and they give you a single jelly bean. Why I oughta? If I was one of the parents there, I'd be charging up like a Donkey Kong punch on them. Like, are you kidding me? 40 clams. I paid 40 clams to come in here and you give my kid a jelly bean and a tiddlywink of lemonade? You are off your gourd. That is absolutely insane. I've paid to come to this warehouse. The least you could do is give me a Hershey's bar or something. A single jelly bean. Who came up with that? That doesn't make any sense at all. Now, since the story's blown up, the creator of the event even came forward with an apology saying, "I'm really shocked the event had fallen short of the expectations of people on paper. My vision of the artistic rendition of a well-known book didn't come to fruition. For that, I am absolutely, truly, and utterly sorry." There's no doubt in my mind he's getting high on his own supply here, huffing the fumes from the Oompa Loompas' dirty meth lab. What do you mean you are shocked? How could you possibly be shocked, you AI-generated fantasy images of a fucking chocolate factory experience that doesn't exist and would never exist? You put together basically the world's laziest, lawn decorations for a Christmas party and called it the Willy Wonka experience. Every single human being would be disappointed going to that, even if it was free. But you had the gall to charge $40 for it. You actually get more value and a better experience out of trick-or-treating on Halloween and going through a cool house sidewalk and getting candy from their bucket than you would paying $40 going to this experience. Because at least in Halloween trick-or-treating, you get a full candy bar. Here you get a jelly bean and a shot of lemonade. This is baffling. I would love to hear more from the creator here, just to pick their brain. Police were summoned to the scene as outraged ticket buyers lobbied for refunds. I imagine all of the guests felt scammed by the misleading marketing material and then going to this downright diabolical, creepy location. Organizer Billy Cole, the director of House of Illuminati, that's the name of his group, that's what he's calling this, the House of Illuminati. It couldn't get more nefarious sounding than that. So, the House of Illuminati is the one that put together the Willy Wonka experience. Billy Cole told STV News, "I'm really shocked that the event had fallen short of expectations of the people on paper." He closed down the display on Saturday after offering refunds to the 850 ticket buyers. 850 people bought tickets to this. That's not, small potatoes. That's quite a lot of attendees. My goodness. So I just had to talk about this a little bit because what an entertainingly awful, pathetic event that turned out to be. So yeah, I thought that was pretty fun and just wanted to share that. And since I mentioned this earlier in the video, I'd also like to share a goofy little trailer we made for Godslap to celebrate issue 5's release. So please enjoy this. It's about the Willy Wonka experience, which seems to be the gift that just keeps on giving. The lore to the Willy Wonka experience disaster is deeper than Scientology at this point. Somehow it just keeps going. So the Willy Wonka experience organizer Billy Cole says the event ruined his life. "I have lost my friends, I've lost the love of my life, I was made out to be the face of evil, and genuinely that's really not the case." He received hundreds and hundreds of hate messages and has been dubbed Willy Wanker. Absolutely goated name. Despite claiming to only use AI for spell checking the Wonka scripts, it's been uncovered that he published 16 AI-generated books last summer on Amazon. There are so many things to immediately debunk just in this here, it's crazy. Such as the mind-bogglingly stupid claim that he only used AI for spell checking when one of the promotional pieces talked about serving up sweet teats as opposed to sweet treats. Like, it was all AI-generated art that he used to drum up the hype. And yet he's trying to claim with a straight face that he only used it for spell check. Hold on, let me pull this up in case you guys don't remember. But I need to find, like, the full breakdown of the OGs. So shit like that. And then this was in real life. All of these. Very clearly AI generated up there. He removed it from his original site, like the House of Illuminati, which is what he calls himself. So like this was on their website. This was like their main poster. And he's trying to claim that he only used AI for spell check when there is no spelling even close to accurate in this whole thing here. Enchurning entertainment, catgigating, live performances, Karchi tons, exarcerdary lollipops, a passadice of sweet teats. Man's out here offering fucking sweet teats. Trying to claim that he's not using AI for anything more than spell check. He should be smited where he stands. That man should never be able to hold an event ever again. Not even a birthday party for his own children. It should be a criminal act. Also, I'm pretty sure this is just a lie, too. I've lost my friends, I've lost the love of my life, I was made out to be the face of all evil, and genuinely that's not really the case. You weren't made to be the face of... You weren't made to be, like, the face of evil. You were just made to be the face of a clown. Just someone to point and laugh at. And there's no way you lost the love of your life. You're telling me your wife left you? The wife saw this blunder and she's like, alright, I'm packing my bags. I'm out, Billy. This was the final straw. If you were his wife, you're telling me you'd stay? Yeah, what? Okay, let's assume I'm Billy Cole's significant other. And I actually loved him. I'd weather the storm together. I'd be like, listen, Billy, the fuck were you thinking? You'll get through this, though. Just do anything else. Just do any... No one even knew what you looked like until you started singing your sad song on the world's smallest violin. You could have easily done anything else and no one would know it was you. Like, you would have been fine. I would have helped steer him in the right direction as opposed to be like, alright, I'm out of here, Billy. Though, respect to her, I guess. Whatever. God, this was so cringe. I can't be seen with you anymore, Billy. I'm gone. Yeah, Willy Wanker is a great name. Also, he could have easily leaned into this, by the way. The Unknown was a phenomenon, so much so that there's even talk about an Unknown movie, which was his AI generative Willy Wonka villain about the evil chocolate maker that lives in the walls to frighten kids on the Willy Wonka experience who's only defeated by tidiness. Like, he could have absolutely crushed it with that. This guy's such a fucking goober. He doesn't understand anything at all. Like, he had gold in the palm of his hands. He was behind one of the most talked about disasters since Fyre Festival, and he had the Unknown right there in his fucking meaty little claws. And he let it slip away by singing this sad song about losing his wife. I'm assuming it means that whoever his significant other is left him. But also, there was a little bit more information about Billy here. So, apparently, this isn't even like the only scam he's run, which I knew. He'd run others in the past, but he did more than I thought. So a few years back, he also canceled a Santa event after collecting a bunch of toy donations. Like, that, I mean, that's about as low as it gets. Like, okay, scaring kids with the unknown and a really shitty warehouse Willy Wonka experience from Fiverr, whatever. But taking a bunch of toy donations for a toy drive for Christmas and then just running away with it like the Grinch, like, come on, you are the unknown. You think the unknown has a chance of showing up in the Pooniverse? I think so. They already have their lineup put out there. Let me pull it up. There's probably room. I love the name, the Pooniverse, as well. That's so fucking cute. Well, it's not cute, but, like, they cooked with it. They have the Twisted Childhood Universe, Bambi the Reckoning, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, Pinocchio Unstrung, and then Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey and Blood and Honey 2. That's the universe. And here's their promo art for it. I guarantee none of these movies will have above a $1 million budget, but they'll probably make at least 10 mil each. And they're all going to be just as bad as Blood and Honey. Billy Cole, one of the 3 trustees and co-founders of the organization, said initially we were putting on a Santa's grotto for local children who are disadvantaged and vulnerable and sending out selection boxes, but we were worried and concerned about the Omicron virus, the no Crimbo virus as we call it. What? Who is this guy? The no Crimbo, huh? Is this guy's brain AI generated? Jesus Christ, Billy. We decided that having too many people in and out seeing Santa would be a risk we would not want to take. The main reason is to safeguard us and our service users and wider community. But despite assuring that they would continue to distribute food parcels, fuel vouchers, and selection boxes, the team has felt forced to defend themselves against negative comments questioning their actions, talking about what happened to all the donations of toys if Santa's only giving out selection boxes. And Billy said, some people on social media have questioned us and our integrity as an organization, asking about presents if we're going to keep them for ourselves. In my office, I can't move for donations of toys. What? These are people who have never stepped foot in our doors or used our services despite numerous invites from us. We are all about helping people in the community and enabling organizations to work together. We are a hub, a crisis support center. We work with local nursery schools, and everywhere you will find people in crises and families who are in need. You didn't answer the question. What are you doing with all the toys that were already donated? Billy's just still got them. Maybe he used them for the Wonka experience. It's such a weird hustle. It really is such a peculiar hustle. Like, it's not a lucrative scam either. And for some reason, it's always at the expense of children. So I feel like maybe Billy's got some, like, trauma he needs to work through, and the only way that he finds any kind of relief is through, like, ruining children's fun. He feeds off their misery. Like some kind of dementor. Because you'd find a lot more success scamming adults. In this day and age, adults beg to be scammed. Dude's an AI-generated R.L. Stein. Yeah, I guess kinda. Oh yeah, and the AI generated books. I didn't even bother touching on that. Yeah, he just publishes AI generated books as well. This guy's just all about the weirdest hustles. Amazon is inundated with just shovelware books. Like, I highly doubt any of his are moving units. I highly doubt it. But I mean, he's also making them for free. So I guess if he even sells one, it's a net positive.
Lots of kids.
They made a documentary on this. Why? The 30-plus minute documentary on that is insane. Yeah, imagine throwing an event so cringe that someone makes a 45-minute documentary on just how fucking bafflingly cringe this scam was. That's impressive. It is actually impressive. Just Google Billy Cole Amazon. Oh, he actually used his real name for it? I thought he would have used like a pen name. Like J.K. Bowling or something. Click on his name and it'll show you all his books. I did. And it only shows me Biohazard Protocol and Crimson. Oh, nope, you're right. There was a different tab I needed to click on. Okay. He has 17 titles, all of which are apparently AI generated according to the article. The Memory Trap, Unraveling the Secrets of Memory Technology, Crimson Eclipse, Biohazard Protocol, Threads of Enigma. All of these are AI generated covers too, by the way, I'm pretty sure. The Hidden Bible, The Enigma's Resurgence, Threads of Destiny. So I think what happened here is when he chat GPT'd like a thriller book. Here, actually, let me just take some pictures of this. When he AI generated, like, hey, make me a thriller book, it spit out a couple different ones, and he just decided to use all of them as different books. So, he's got this series, The Threads of Enigma, and then The Enigma's Resurgence, Threads of Destiny. These two are remarkably similar. The Hidden Bible, and then The Shadow Directive, Shadows. That shit is so shadowy that even in parentheses there's shadows to let you know. That is dark. I want to read the Shadow Directive plot summary real quick. The Shadow Directive is a gripping and thrilling novel that delves into the dark world of manipulation and the power of truth. The story revolves around Sarah, an investigative journalist who stumbles upon the mysterious assassination of a whistleblower. It's like Boeing. This event leads her to uncover the existence of a secret government program known as the Shadow Directive, a malevolent force designed to manipulate public opinion and control influential figures. Driven by her determination to expose the truth, Sarah joins forces with two allies, Cassandra, a tech-savvy hacker, and Aiden, a fearless resistance leader. Together they embark on a dangerous journey to unravel the puppeteers' hidden agendas and reveal the extent of their manipulation. Sounds like a real page-turner. What about Threads of Enigma? The Enigma. Threads of Enigma is a captivating novel that seamlessly weaves together the realms of art, history, and mystery. Through the eyes of protagonist Evelyn, readers are immersed in a world where hidden messages encoded within artworks lead to a journey of discovery that transcends space and time. Cool. What about The Enigma Resurgence? And an enthralling second installment of the captivating trilogy, The Enigma's Resurgence, Threads of Destiny, Evelyn's journey deepens, leading her through a mesmerizing labyrinth of time, art, and history. As she deciphers hidden messages and unravels the Enigma's layers, her determination remains unshaken even in the face of loss and adversity. This is so fucking ridiculous. You can't keep getting away with it. Read the reviews on Biohazard. What is this? What in the AI is this? If I could give this book 0 stars, I would. I ran the free sample through an AI detection tool. And then posts a picture saying that it's 88.43% AI GPT. Cool. Here's another shadow one. Shadows of Deception, Unveiling the Deep State Conspiracy. Look up the Bible. Oh, yeah, I know. I see the Hidden Bible here. I'll read the synopsis. All of them start exactly the same, by the way. This is the third one, I think, in a row that has this for the intro. In the Hidden Bible, a captivating tale of mystery and discovery unfolds as Emily... Like, all of them start with a captivating tale of mystery and discovery, manipulation, shadows, enigma. A curious and determined protagonist stumbles upon a forgotten manuscript that holds the key to unlocking ancient secrets. As she deciphers the cryptic verses within its pages, a journey spanning time and space begins, one that challenges the boundaries of knowledge, faith, and human understanding. Set against the backdrop of enigmatic symbols and echoes of antiquity. Jesus Christ. It has everything. Shadow, enigma, captivating tale, mystery. I really want to know more about the love of his life leaving him because of the Willy Wonka experience. Maybe he really will move into trying to sell a docuseries on himself. My name is Billy Cole, and I lost my wife because I put on a cringe event. I was sick to the pit of my tummy. I was hoping for an event that would be joyful, happy. I wanted people to experience happiness. Even his responses are AI. I was sick to the pit of my tummy? What in the hairs on my chinny chin chin kind of statement is that? I'm excited to learn more about Billy Cole down the line, I guess.
My tummy, I had a whole host of emotions.
Our world still bears the scars that we suffered from the Willy Wonka experience. God rest the souls of all who lost their time and money at that event. It is by far the silliest scam event, and it became a massive worldwide phenomenon with people talking about it. It was like Fyre Fest, except for Willy Wonka fans. It was just such a beautiful tragedy that really grabbed the whole world by the tits. Even the victims of the scam couldn't help but recognize how fucking wacky it was. And since then, there's been a couple of other big scam events that have come out, but not to the level we're about to see here. I'd argue this is almost to the same silliness level as the Willy Wonka experience. It just happened recently with a fraudulent Bridgerton ball. So Bridgerton is a massive show, I'm sure you've all heard of it, and there was an event organizer who was putting on a big Bridgerton event, charging 300 clams to attend, promising to deliver a wet dream, an absolute fantasy of an event, but when you got there, it was a nightmare.
Who say they're now out hundreds of dollars and have no regal experience to show for it.
Standing in the rain, dressed to the nines.
Honestly, I just want my money back.
Superfans say they didn't get what they thought they were paying for at the Detroit Bridgerton Ball.
They paid 300 doubloons only to get stuck standing outside the venue in the rain in their most expensive, most elaborate outfits, just getting poured on. And if you did get inside, well, it wasn't exactly special. It was pretty barren and empty. It makes the surprise party my parents tried to throw for me in middle school look like the Met Gala. A Twitter user named Rachel gave us the scoop from the inside here about the Bridgerton Ball and what exactly it consisted of. So, $300 price tag, and basically it was a lot of people sitting around on their phones because there was nothing to do. There was no ball. There was no anything. It was like the fucking void that Squidward goes to be all alone, except you're not alone, you're just surrounded by multiple hundreds of other people that also got scammed and paid to be there. There's also some hoopla before the event even took place because of a rescheduling that didn't make a lot of sense. So originally the event was supposed to happen in August, but then there was hoopla, they pushed it to September, and then there was even accusations that the reason that they had to push the date is because they weren't paying the previous venue, which is why they got, kicked out of using the venue or something to that effect. But regardless, the event did happen 3 days ago, or lack thereof an event, really. Here's the decor of the Bridgerton Ball event. Stellar, absolutely jaw-dropping, breathtaking, even. This is straight out of a wet dream. I mean, just look at how great it looks. So, as you can see, it wasn't exactly the best put-together venue. That looks like something you'd see set up at the state fair for photos, not a $300 Bridgerton Ball event. And I think the Twitter user really hit the nail on the head. I have a game theory here. I think the organizers got all of this money from all of these attendees, and they were just extremely happy. And then as it came closer to the date, they realized, oh, we can't just take their money. We're going to go to jail for that. That's illegal. We have to put on some kind of event. So they panicked and then went to Party City, grabbed this furniture, and just set it down haphazardly there. It really feels like this whole event was put on like the actual day before. And even less, perhaps. Like maybe a few hours before people got there, they had like a couple of friends and family scrambling to get like some chairs and, hire someone to play the violin. Because one of the advertisements was like, live music. Well, here's the live music. A single violin player, like probably playing the saddest song you've ever heard too. Like that must feel awful. You get hired for a gig and it turns out to be this. That's gotta feel like shit. So you just sit there forced to play for people that are miserable after having been scammed, after having been stood out in the rain for God knows how long, and you have to sit there as the only source of sound in the venue, aside from like tears from people who realized how much money they just wasted. But don't worry, the event wasn't without entertainment. The organizers hired a stripper for some reason. They hired one stripper for the Bridgerton Ball. Now, I'm not the most knowledgeable on Bridgerton, but that seems a little out of place. It feels like what happened is they just scrolled through Facebook Marketplace for anyone advertising any talent, like, you know, commission them. Hey, I play the violin. I'll come do like a party or something if you need. Book it. Hey, I'm an exotic dancer. Book it. You probably could have advertised anything, and if you were on the marketplace at the time before this event happened, they probably would have grabbed your services. Like, hey, I'm a professional soup slurper. Oh, you're coming to the Bridgerton Ball. Hey, I juggle and spread my butt cheeks. To the Bridgerton Ball with you. Like, it looks like they just desperately, at the last minute, just hired some people to come in here just to, like, hang out to make it look like the event was happening. Like, it looks like they were trying to do the bare minimum where they could make a legal argument that they did fulfill their event obligation. But yeah, they promised a cash prize, which that didn't happen. They promised a diamond of the season thing, which didn't happen, and a lot of other like nonsense that didn't happen. And overall, most people want a refund, which is very reasonable. They got scammed. They 100% got schmeckeldorfed. They also got potentially food poisoned as well. Apparently they ran out of food after an hour, and some of the food they were serving was raw. So there's a good chance that not only did you get scammed, your gut got fucking slammed.
The way that it was described is that this was going to be a Bridgerton evening. We were going to have classical music, good dinner, and there was going to be a play, and they were going to pick Diamond of the Season. They were going to give away all of these prizes, and we went in, and it's completely empty in there.
Hey, come on now. It wasn't completely empty in there. Didn't you see the pole dancing and the violin player? I bet they were probably just about to bring out Monopoly as well.
And had no problem just taking people's money.
The company behind the event, Uncle and Me LLC, has since disabled comments on their social media.
They haven't put out any official statement, the event organizer I'm referring to. They've just gone silent. So I'm guessing this is just another little game theory here. I'm guessing what's going to happen is the classic. They're going to shut down their socials. They're going to remake the company under a different name and pull another scam like this again in the future. That's my hypothesis. I just don't see a world where Uncle and Me can somehow put out a statement that allows them to continue to do business down the line. Like, this fundamentally stops their whole business, because who the fuck is going to pay money to go to another one of their events? Even if they said they were just giving away free donuts, I bet nobody shows up because they wouldn't trust it. Like, they'd still feel like there's some kind of scam there. It's not something an event organizer can come back from. You have scammed a lot of people, and they're not giving refunds as of this moment. So how the fuck are you expected to do business again? And I don't think they're going to try. I think they're going to rebrand. That's my guess. I am hoping for a happy ending, though, for the people that lost their money in this. I'm hoping they get a refund. Also, this scam, like this event, is probably the only one so far where people probably lost a lot more than just that money in that time. Because of the scale of it, like a Bridgerton ball where it was all about like elegance and dressing up and all of this, I have no doubt there's people that spent like an entire week picking out their outfit, buying accessories, buying other things, buying outfits, buying dresses, all just to prepare for this event, which turned out to be a big fucking fraud, a big scam. So I do think that this is probably more than $300 that people lost in this. That's just how much they lost on the ticket. And that super sucks. But anyway, want to talk about it a little bit. That's it. See ya. I've covered a lot of scams over the years, but this product might just take the cake for being the most diabolical. It's an automatic litter box that is killing cats. It kind of stops being a litter box and becomes like a pseudo guillotine that executes some of the cats that use it. It is horrifying and heartbreaking. There's a YouTube channel called One Man 5 Cats that just posted an incredible breakdown going over how dangerous and deadly this device is. Those two adorable cats pictured there, Mochi and Charlie, are two of the who knows how many victims of this death trap. As a cat owner myself, the thought of this is really infuriating. And from what I can tell through looking it up, this automatic litter box is a very popular one. And it's being sold under numerous different brands. It keeps getting rebranded or repackaged and sold by a ton of different other companies. So it's not like it's coming from one place that you can always track down. Like, oh, this is, you know, from Jerry Inc., designed to kill Tom and every other cat or anything. This is a bunch of different brands selling the same device with the same problem that can lead to your cat just being killed by it.
Which shared a video on TikTok from a lady called Carly J, who described how her automatic litter box killed her cat, a beautiful 1-year-old Siamese girl called Moshi.
Yesterday morning, we woke up, me and my 2-year-old daughter, and I went to find my cat, and she was hanging from her litter box. It had closed on her neck and her body was hanging out, and there was red stuff all over, like everywhere.
I'm guessing you can't say blood on TikTok, but the scene she's describing is consistent with reports from other cat owners that also lost their beloved pets to this machine as well. I just can't even imagine that. Even just hearing about it makes me angry. If I found that my cat Io had been killed by one of these, that would have me fully go John Wick. Like, I know I kind of look like a diet great value John Wick right now just by default, but that would have me fully go, like, unhinged with it.
She didn't say what machine it was, but she did clarify in the follow-up video that it wasn't an actual litter robot, but something she had bought off of Amazon. She didn't name it in this video either, but she did in the comments. Her videos started to go viral, but then just a few days after they were uploaded, they were gone. So I started to investigate. I needed to know if this was real and if potentially deadly machines were being sold.
It's not unusual for videos to be taken down either by the user or by a company looking to salvage their image if it paints them in a bad light. So One Man 5 Cats was paying attention, noticed the videos got taken down, and launched his own investigation to see if the claims were real. Or maybe it was all one big hoax by some rival litter box company trying to besmirch the good name of Am's Toys.
I'd already found the one that she named on Amazon a few days earlier, sold under the brand Am's Toy. Astonishingly, they even called it Litter Robot by Am's Toy, using Whisker's Litter Robot font. This is absolutely not a litter robot, and it shows just how dodgy this company is.
This whole thing is fishy from top to bottom. This company itself is extraordinarily sketchy. So they're trying to pretend to be a more successful, more reputable company that sells the litter robot to confuse consumers. It's actual infringement. Like, this is fraud. At least in my opinion. I'm not an expert, but they are calling it the litter robot, which is already something that exists by a different company, and it's a completely different device. The litter robot by Am's Toy is as much of a robot as me doing this. It doesn't really function the way it should, because it shouldn't be fucking killing cats, you know what I mean? It's not the litter robot, it's the shitter robot. And Am's Toy knows that. They are doing a classic knockoff. Like, this is something that you see in every industry. When something gets popular, you're going to see 1,000 different companies and brands take the exact same thing, even call it the exact same thing, even though it's not the real product, because it's hoping to confuse buyers into getting theirs instead of the real one. Usually they'll make it more appealing by making it cheaper, which is exactly what Am's Toy's litter robot did. It is a cheap automatic litter robot option that people who are familiar with these kind of devices have probably heard the name litter robot before, so they felt that it was trustworthy.
In the review section, there was a photo of one covered in blood, stating that it had killed their cat. It wasn't under her name, but it had to be her machine. But after the TikTok videos were removed, that review no longer had the photo on it, and was now positive. Then a few days later, the entire listing for the Am's Toy was gone.
Another timeless classic from these evil companies, they put this product out there. When it becomes apparent to most consumers that it's a scam, or in this case, more than a scam, it is actually killing the intended user, they just vanish. They just disappear into a puff of smoke. Also, the review being changed, I haven't actually seen it to that level before. Like, it's very common for these scam companies to have paid reviews, like shills come in and review, or in certain cases bots. When the review site doesn't have a lot of protections in place, you'll see a lot of bot reviews. But this one's really weird. Not only did they try and bury that review about the cat that was murdered by their product, they changed it to "good machine with cute ears." That's like the fakest sounding review ever. And in a case like this, that's like someone leaving a review for the Brazen Bull like, "was boiled alive, but man did it look cool on the outside. 4 stars. These people are fucked up. It's not like they don't know what's going on here. They are clearly aware that their product is killing cats. And yet, what they're doing to fix that is hiding that and then just rebranding. Like, they just say, alright, we'll just try again in a week. That was so good, I think I'll try it a second time. What about second breakfast? Here we go, new brand, same machine. It'll probably kill a couple cats, and when that happens, we'll just do it all over again. Rinse and repeat.
There are also a lot of very similar looking machines and different names at Amazon and Wayfair in the US, not just under the AMS toy name. After looking at the photos and videos of them, I saw a potential danger. So I had to buy one to see for myself. And they didn't actually send me the one I ordered, which was identical to the AMS toy version, minus the ears. But what I received was still the same fundamental design. It's one of the countless generic machines which are generally bought in bulk and branded by a random company. That's why you see so many identical ones online with different names.
Without the ears, this shit actually does just look like a minion. It looks like a minion that was trapped in a noir film. So as you can see, this machine is being used by a ton of different sellers under a ton of different names, ton of different brands. But it remains the same fundamentally terrible product that can kill a cat.
I immediately started testing it straight out the box, as shipped, and had my fears confirmed. I don't even know how I'm supposed to free.
Yikes, that is horrible. Seeing the Garfield plushie get annihilated there like it was about to be turned into fucking lasagna paints a pretty clear picture of how these cats are being killed by it. So it is a single piece of plastic and only one opening that's mounted to the base, and it rotates upwards when it's doing its cleaning cycle. So if a cat peeks in, which is very normal behavior for cats apparently, like my cat does it, Io, anytime she uses the litter box, she like looks down there to make sure that it's not alive, because if it is, she'd go down there and swat the shit out of it 1,000 times, give it like the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, ora ora ora, well, just slapping the poop around. So it's not unusual, and it should be expected that a cat might look into the litter box once it finishes. And that shouldn't be a death sentence for the cat.
But this rotates on the y-axis, so as it cycles, the opening closes. Because that piece of plastic opening is attached to the base and not split in two, if a cat gets caught in it, then there's no escape. There's the weight sensors, an infrared sensor on the front entrance that will pause the machine if a cat gets close to it or enters it. The third safety measure is the pinch detector.
Now, this has sensors, but clearly they don't work very well. The sensors are supposed to be in place to prevent this kind of thing from happening, where if there's still a cat like around while it's doing the cleaning cycle, it should abort that mission. Like, it shouldn't continue the cleaning cycle because it could be dangerous to the cat.
Here I'm pressing down, putting my weight on it and covering the infrared sensor. Both indeed pause the cycling briefly. It should not resume like this. If a cat put its paws on the front and peered in, it should wait until those triggered sensors were cleared. Instead, it just pauses briefly and resumes, which is making both sensors redundant. Now the pinch detector should be getting a sense of resistance from here and reversing, but it doesn't. It carries on. God, that really hurts.
Dude almost just sacrificed his hand to the AMS toy bloodlord here. So clearly, these sensors are not effective. Now, they did roll out an update on the app to fix the sensors, which did actually fix them, but I still argue that that's just not good enough. It is a terrible product, even with functioning sensors. It is still a dog shit design that is inherently dangerous for cats. There is no reason why it should be rotating upwards and have a fucking fixed base that it's rotating against. Because technology breaks. No matter how much you, fix something or roll out changes, there's always going to be malfunctions. And in the case of this putrid motherfucker, it's going to cost the cat its life. Other automatic litter boxes that I've seen don't rotate upwards often. Most of them rotate onto their side. But the ones that do also don't rotate against a fixed base, they rotate against something that can pop off. So even if a cat somehow does find itself stuck on one of the other machines that's going upwards, because they're in two pieces, the top pops off and the cat is alive and it gets to live to see another day. Here, that is not the case.
The inside rim of the plastic opening is actually quite sharp too, so that combined with the force and the 3 safety measures all failing to do their job made this machine incredibly dangerous. Once I had finished these initial tests, I connected it to the Tuya Smart app to see if there were any firmware updates, and yeah, there was one. So I installed it, and amazingly, the sensors started to work properly, including the pinch detector.
One Man 5 Cat mentions that there was no indication that there needed to be a firmware update. There was nothing in the manual that even talked about safety, really. So the vast majority of buyers of this product would have no idea that they need to download and update the firmware to have the sensors function properly. When you purchase something, you're expecting it to be in a working order. That's not going to just be some kind of fucking saw trap for your cat.
From my experience in my Facebook group, I know that many people don't bother with apps, which means if they have one of these, then they won't have the safer firmware. Are the sellers on Amazon, Wayfair, and AliExpress contacting people who've bought them to tell them that they must update the firmware? Well, if this was a single machine sold by a well-known brand, I'm sure they would. But with all these different random companies, it's doubtful. I just really hope that they are.
I am extremely confident that they're not. I would eat my fucking left shoe if it turns out any of these sellers bothered reaching any of the buyers to tell them to upgrade the firmware, to update it. Otherwise, their cat might die in it. I feel like most of the companies would be really weary of sending an email like that to the buyers because it might put them into legal hot water or something. They probably wouldn't even alert the buyers to those safety concerns in the first place, and they just sit there crossing their fingers hoping that their cat doesn't die because then it might be bad for their brand and they'll have to restart again under a different name, like they're doing countless times.
Then there's just how good are the sensors? How reliable are they? Sensors fail, especially cheap sensors, and looking at the build quality of this, I highly doubt the sensors are high quality. So if the sensors stop working, then you still have this incredibly dangerous design of the opening closing off with no way to escape.
It's something One Man 5 Cats also mentions here, and then also talks about how bad the build quality is and how it's just, even aside from being a death trap, a really awful automatic litter box. Now, he actually did get in contact with the initial poster of that TikTok video who lost her cat to one of these, and it's really interesting what we learn from her.
Amsoy had given her financial settlement to delete the videos and the Amazon review. As part of the settlement, Amsoy would remove the machine from sale. Her husband was unable to delete the Amazon review, so he changed it to a positive one.
So that solves the mystery of the deleted TikTok videos and the changed Amazon review. So they were financially compensated by this company that had led to the death of their cat to take down the videos and also get rid of the Amazon review. What a scummy organization. And apparently they had stopped the sale of that product. Bah humbug, I know they're not. They're just selling it under a different name now. No doubt in my mind. One Man 5 Cats goes on to say that he doesn't blame her for taking the settlement. He mentions he doesn't know how much it was, but she mentioned it wasn't a lot. The main reason she did it was to get the product to stop being sold on Amazon, but she just didn't know how widespread of an issue this is. This isn't just one company selling it. It's not just Amstoy. This is that product being sold by a ton of different other sellers, and I'm sure whoever's behind Amstoy is still selling it themselves but under a different name. So ultimately, it didn't stop getting sold as a result of this, unfortunately.
Carly also told me about a lady called Trish who messaged her to say that her cat had also been killed by the Am's toy machine, and she put me in touch with her. Trish's kitten Charlie was 3 months old and over the minimum weight that the manual states a cat should be before turning on autocycling. On the 19th of July, Trish got a video call from her 13-year-old daughter frantically telling her that Charlie's neck was caught in the closed opening.
I'll go ahead and stop the story here. It is heartbreaking. Like, it is awful. It's these goddamn vultures that are so hungry to just push out these scams, these really cheaply made products to try and make a quick buck off deceiving consumers into purchasing them by emulating popular brands, and people are just none the wiser. It's on Amazon, and most people have like some level of faith in an Amazon product at least not going to kill someone, right? And these fucking vermin know that. So they put it on Amazon, they know it's dangerous and deadly, and do not care, because they're trying to make some money on top of these kitten corpses.
Trish also shared with me a review on the now deleted Am's Toy Amazon listing about a cat that had also gotten stuck in the opening, but the owner was able to rescue her in time. But it doesn't end there. There was another Facebook post in my Facebook group that shared this story about a 5-month-old kitten that was found suffocated in a waste drawer.
This one actually had the cat pass away in a different fashion. As opposed to being trapped between the opening and the base, this one got trapped under the scooper and suffocated in the litter. Now, the last sentence here is something very important to note. Perhaps warn your customers, since it's the most affordable option I've seen for a litter robot. That's what makes these so popular and why they're being resold by so many brands, because they're manufactured super cheap and cheaper than all of the alternatives. So a lot of people have been purchasing them not knowing that it could kill their pets. And since companies like Am's Toy just delete the listing or pay people off to delete negative reviews and take down videos talking about it, people don't even get the information to let them know that it could be dangerous, because they just get a fresh listing with the same machine and none of the reviews are there anymore.
I tried to contact Am's Toy to get a statement, but their online presence is very minimal, and especially now that their Amazon listings are gone. I did find their YouTube channel, so I left a comment asking if they could get in touch with me. They didn't reply or email me. Instead, they deleted my comment. Deleting seems to be their way of dealing with things. I hope this video can help get all of them removed from sale everywhere and get to the people who already have them to warn them.
I wasn't surprised that they deleted that comment. I was actually more shocked that they had a YouTube account still up. Usually when a company, goes tits up and decides to sail off into the sunset before rebranding and selling the same shit, they make sure to scrub the entire online presence of their previous scam. Am's Toy forgot one, clearly. So overall, massive thanks to One Man 5 Cats for talking about this, showcasing it, and warning people, because I imagine there's a lot of people that watched his video and may have actually had one in their home, and it probably saved their cat's life. Like, unironically, it probably saved that animal's life. Hopefully, the products can be removed from Amazon and every other seller that has them. It's a dangerous product. It's a scam product. So it should be very easy to just slap to the shadow realm, I would think. So yeah, great work by One Man 5 Cats, and my heart breaks for anyone that lost their cat to this thing. Hopefully going forward, this product will just not exist anymore. That's really about it. Go check out One Man 5 Cats channel if you do want to see like good automatic litter box options that aren't deadly or dangerous. And yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. There's a lot of bad news in the world, so allow me to cleanse your palate with some good news. A very tasty treat for you today. 8 months ago, I made a video covering the story of a Rhode Island criminal named Nicholas Alaverdian. Nincompoop Nicholas here tried to avoid punishment for his crime, and he fled the country after faking his own death. It wasn't an elaborate fake death ruse, it wasn't a galaxy brain scheme. He didn't exactly call up best quality vacuum from Breaking Bad and order a Hoover Max or anything. But he was successful in leaving the United States and evading authorities, and he started a new life with a new alias, Arthur Knight, which was only one of many names that he went by. He was changing his name more frequently than kids used to on Club Penguin. But Arthur Knight was by far his most used alias. Now, it's important that I tell you what charges he was trying to run away from. Rape charges. You see, Nicholas Alaverdian, Nicholas Rossi, Arthur Knight, all one and the same. A rapist. He faked his death in 2020 by feeding media outlets a bunch of baloney and horseradish about how he's about to die, he's about to meet his demise, but the reality was, he was just trying to get out of the country while the authorities were investigating the rape allegations. So he did get out of the country, and he tried very hard to bury his past, but in 2021, he had to check himself into the hospital for COVID-related symptoms, and that's when the authorities were able to identify that this patient is actually the wanted US fugitive Nicholas Alaverdian. And while parading around as Arthur Knight, he tried desperately to convince people that this was all a complete misunderstanding, or that he had been framed, claiming that it was all part of a grand conspiracy to connect him, the innocent Arthur Knight, to this rapist, Nicholas Alaverdian. He kept trying to insist that it's a miscarriage of justice what's happening to him, it's wrong, it's outrageous. But it's not like they just gave it the old eyeball test or the smell test to connect him. They had every piece of hard evidence possibly required to say beyond a shadow of a doubt that these are the same person. They had DNA evidence. He had identifiable tattoos that they were easily able to connect to Nicholas Alaverdian. Like, they had everything, fingerprints, all of it, the whole kit and caboodle. And the judge even said as much as well.
In July, Knight was arrested again, and prosecutors matched his fingerprints to Alaverdian's. Friday, prosecutors of the Scottish court revealed they were able to tell he was Alaverdian after matching the tattoos on his arm.
I am ultimately satisfied on the balance of probabilities.
And even in the face of overwhelming evidence against him, he kept trying. Like the world's worst anime character refusing to give up, Nicholas Alaverdian kept desperately trying to convince even a single soul on this planet that it was all just a misunderstanding. He's Arthur Knight, damn it, not Nicholas. So he now has this infamous interview he did where he tried to prove it.
To the media, our lives have been interrupted, and we'd like privacy, and I would like to go back to being a normal husband. But I can't, because I can't breathe, I can't walk. People say that's an act. Let me try to stand up. Let me try
no, don't do it!
Up.
Oh my God!
Exactly.
We almost lost him.
What do you say to someone who believes that you are Nicholas Alaverdian?
I am not, Andrea, I am not Nicholas Alaverdian. I do not know how to make this clear.
What do you say?
He's got that rock bottom intonation going on. I'm not Nicholas.
This is all an act.
Oh, Ika.
Oh.
Andrea,
no,
that's a low blow. That's a right low blow.
That really was a low blow to say that it's all just putting on a show and an act. It's more than that. He's out here with a fucking performance that would make every thespian troupe in America jealous. This is Oscar-worthy material that we're working with here. To suggest that it's just a show or an act, it's disrespectful, honestly. This is one of the finest, most convincing pieces of anything I've ever seen in my fucking life. But as you might imagine, this didn't work super well. Nobody believed this. Actually, nobody on the fucking planet believed this. However, he does travel with his supporting actress here for this interview, where she sits next to him and she's like trying to calm him down, like, no, don't do that. Not that death-defying stunt where you stand up. Oh, you're gonna hurt yourself, dear. Please, no. No! Like panicking when he stands up and starts, you know, wacky inflatable tube manning his arms around, like he's getting hit with an earthquake or something. So he does have her traveling with him, I guess, to try and make it seem more credible, I guess. Clearly, it doesn't work. So anyway, what is the good news here? Well, the good news is Nicholas Alaverdian is being extradited to the U.S. He is finally going to face the punishment that he has eluded for so long now. U.S. fugitive accused of faking his death to avoid rape charges, extradited from Scotland. In case you don't know who this is, let me pull up his infamous interview where he tried to prove that he is not the rapist. So that little song and dance he tried to put on for the thespian troupe, it's coming from a very bad man. It's not exactly like, you know, some minor offense or anything that he's trying to weasel his way out of with that. The man known in the U.S. as Nicholas Rossi, whose legal name is Nicholas Alverdian, is charged with sexually assaulting a former girlfriend in Utah in 2008. He also faces multiple complaints against him in Rhode Island for alleged domestic violence. Rossi was 36. Rossi, 36, was Utah bound on Friday and will stand trial in Utah County for felony rape charges. The man said he was framed by authorities who took his fingerprints while he was in a coma so they could connect him to Rossi. He repeatedly appeared in court in a wheelchair using an oxygen mask and speaking in less than convincing British accent. I'm glad they didn't just let it go. I'm glad that they did fight to get him back so that he could finally face punishment. I can't believe Arthur Knight could be slandered like this. I know, I'm as shocked as you are. Now, even amidst all of this, he still has the gall to continue to state that it's a case of mistaken identity and that he is an Irish orphan named Arthur Knight. That's his story, and he's sticking to it. Even though he is dead to rights with the overwhelming amount of concrete proof that he is Nicholas Alverdian, he still keeps wiggling his finger saying, "Nope, that's not me. You got the case all wrong, Buster. I'm Arthur Knight." It is actually that scene out of SpongeBob with Man Ray and Patrick when he drops his wallet. I also just have to include this because it is so unbelievably outrageous. So again, he is sticking to his story that he is Arthur Knight. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is all just a big misunderstanding. A case of mistaken identity. And as I've stated, they have concrete proof that he is indeed Nicholas Alverdian, one of them being his arm tattoos and fingerprints. So, Alverdian, when confronted with this, talking about his distinctive arm tattoos and fingerprints that left no doubt about his real identity, he claimed that he testified that somebody inked those tattoos on his body while he was in a coma, hospitalized in Glasgow with COVID-19, and that a hospital staffer had taken his fingerprints and sent them to Utah. And as the article states, his testimony left the courtroom observers with mouths agape. It leaves my jaw on the floor too, that he would even try to say something like that. That is the most nonsensical story ever told. Let's just go ahead and play with that idea for a moment. Why would a hospital staffer take your fingerprints and send them to Utah, of all places? Again, he is not in the United States. Why would they send his fingerprints internationally to Utah to just frame a random guy? What kind of fucking conspiracy would that be? And then also, who the fuck would tattoo a man in a coma at a hospital just to connect him to the guy in Utah again, this Arthur Knight academic Irish orphan? Like, what is, like, I don't know why he thought anybody in the world would believe this. Not even the most delusional individual would hear this and think there is an iota of truth to it. Yet he continues to stick with that story. It's fucking wild. But again, he has been extradited to the US now, so he will finally be facing punishment that is long overdue. So that's good news, and I just had to give you the update to this. That's really about it. See ya. Today, I just learned about one of the most bafflingly unhinged criminal cases I've ever read or watched. And it's honestly made me disappointed in all of you for not making me aware of this situation sooner. Shame on you in particular for hoarding this filth to yourself and not letting me into the lunch table to learn about it with you. I'm talking about the wild case of Nicholas Alverdian, otherwise known as Nicholas Rossi, aka Arthur Knight. This man's got more names than a phone book. He goes by many different gamer tags. I wouldn't be surprised if more aliases come to light and there's shit like Dark Ruler 52XX or something. And his story in this whole situation is an unbelievable, true story of absolute lunacy. Dateline recently ran a piece on the Nicholas Alaverdian situation, trying to untangle all of the wild web of mysteries that have been woven here. It is just vile, evil shit. Nicholas is a degenerate worm of a person, but he's also a goofball goober who came up with the dumbest idea ever when he was confronted with the reality of his crimes that he is accused of committing. He is accused of extremely serious charges. He is accused of raping multiple women in Utah. And he came up with this galaxy brain scheme in order to escape the repercussions. He faked his own death. He must have been inspired by Dino Spumoni from Hey Arnold, when Dino Spumoni faked his own death to increase record sales or whatever, but in this case, it was a lot darker than that. He faked his own death to get away from rape charges, and then he fled the United States. He was recently put back on the radar after he checked himself into a hospital for COVID-related symptoms. Eventually, pieces of this puzzle started falling into place, and authorities were able to connect the dots that, this guy claiming to be Arthur Knight may actually be this wanted fugitive that the US really wants to have extradited. And that's led to about a year-long battle with Nicholas Alaverdian, or Arthur Knight, or Nicholas Rossi, in order to have him face justice for his actions. I'm going to go ahead and play you a quick clip from 5 months ago when a different news organization was covering the basics of the story, just to give you a more concise breakdown than what I just provided.
It was breaking news on 12 News this morning. A Scottish court has ruled that a man who goes by the name Arthur Knight is actually a Rhode Island man who faked his own death and is wanted on rape charges.
Kate, Nicholas Alaverdian, also known as Nicholas Rossi, claimed to have been the victim of mistaken identity and insisted his name was Arthur Knight. A court in Scotland ruled that evidence showed that was not the truth.
The person appearing before me is Nicholas Rossi, the person whose extradition is requested by the United States.
35-year-old Nicholas Alaverdian was arrested last year after checking himself into a Scotland hospital with COVID-19 symptoms.
So it's been this ongoing battle where he is claiming that it's a case of mistaken identity. He is not that guy wanted for rape charges. This is a huge misunderstanding. Everything's all cattywampus. You got it all wrong. That's an innocent man right there. Unironically pulling the old cartoon gag of wearing like glasses and a fake mustache and pretending that you're not the person of interest. Like the ultimate disguise.
In July, Knight was arrested again, and prosecutors matched his fingerprints to Alaverdian's. Friday, prosecutors of the Scottish court revealed they were able to tell he was Alaverdian after matching the tattoos on his arm.
I am ultimately satisfied on the balance of probabilities.
Alaverdian is accused of raping 2 women in Utah and sexually assaulting another in 2008.
I wanted to include that section from the broadcast because I didn't want to leave any wiggle room for some pseudo-intellectuals on Twitter to try and make some brain-dead argument about how the authorities got it wrong. They did do their due diligence in gathering evidence to try and confirm that these are the same person, that Arthur Knight is not real. That is not an innocent man. It is the same man who was wanted for those rape crimes. Like, it is not a case of, well, maybe they just didn't do enough. It's not like they just had one investigator, pounding cheeseburgers and wiping the grease on like some papers of Nicholas Alaverdian, and then he saw that after looking at a picture of Arthur Knight and he's like, Eureka, it's the same person, they look similar. That wasn't the case. They have the fingerprint evidence, they also match tattoos, they do have a good bit on their side to lend validity to the claim that this is the same person. But if you're still not sold on that, maybe the interview will be enough to get you on the right side of history here, because they have an interview with Arthur Knight, and it is one of the wackiest clips I've ever seen in a criminal case in all my days. It is gold. It is absolutely fucking extravagant. This is like some thespian A-tier acting.
We were once a normal family, but thanks to the media, our lives have been interrupted. And we'd like privacy, and I would like to go back to being a normal husband. But I can't, because I can't breathe, I can't walk. People say that's an act. Let me try to stand up. Let me try to stand up. Exactly, exactly.
What do you say to someone who believes that you are Nicholas Alaverdian?
I am not, Andrea, I am not Nicholas Alaverdi, and I do not know how to make this clearer.
What do you say to people who say these are crocodile tears? He's putting on a show. This is all an act.
Oh, Andrea, no, that's a low blow. That's a right low blow.
If this man isn't up for an Oscar this year, then the entire industry is dead and corrupt. Absolute unreal. That is a passionate performance. He is literally performing for his life right now. Like, this is high stakes. This clip is how I found the story, by the way. I thought what I was watching is James Corden's only entertaining piece of content ever. I thought it was James Corden playing a character. And I was like, wow, James Corden actually did a decent job. Like, this made me giggle a little bit. And I was like, holy shit, wait. This is real. Like, that whole segment where he's like, oh, you think it's fake that I can't breathe and can't walk? Well, then what do you say to this? As he, like, miraculously rises. He's like, well, watch this. Whoa! This whole thing really feels like a sketch from Whitest Kids You Know. The whole interview is unintentional brilliance. Also, hats off to his supporting actress here. She also does an amazing job. So, like, when he's going to stand up, she's like, oh god, no, don't do it, you're gonna die! You're just gonna kill him! Like, he's about to explode from standing up. She's like, no! As he, like, slowly begins his ascent out of the chair to prove a point. Explain this then, science! Ah! It's so good.
What do you say to someone who believes that you are Nicholas Alaverdian?
I am not, Andrea, I am not Nicholas Alaverdi, and I do not know how to make this clearer.
This segment is also fantastic, very reminiscent of SpongeBob Rockbottom. I can't understand your accent, except here it's gasps for air. Which, of course, is all part of the act, but I really appreciate that he's not afraid to draw clear inspiration from other art, such as SpongeBob. So I appreciate that. Also, the wambulance pulls up and he starts trying to get some tears out. He's not doing a good job of selling the crying. So if I was to critique his performance here, I would say he needs to work on getting tears out because his eyes are very dry. He doesn't actually get any moisture in there. He doesn't get any of his tear ducts firing, so that falls a little flat with the fake tears, but imagine if he was able to pull that off. This would have been a true combo of acting expertise, and it would have been one of the finest performances we've ever seen.
What do you say to people who say these are crocodile tears? He's putting on a show. This is all an act.
Oh, Andrea, no, that's a low blow. That's a right low blow.
What a dynamic duo here. A power couple. The chemistry between them, the synergy, is immaculate. So the interviewer asks, what do you say to people that are saying these are just crocodile tears and you're putting on a show? Without missing a beat, the woman there is like, oh, geez, come on. Have some class. Can't you see this is a broken man we're dealing with? Oh, jeepers. Zoinks, come on now. Where's the professionalism? Really? You're gonna hurt his feelings. And this is the cue to Nicholas to immediately, go fucking hog wild into the fake crying, which he's not great at, but it's complemented by the woman sitting opposite of him to kind of like egg him on and try and be there as like this shoulder to not cry on. So really just a fucking fantastic team they make. What a great pair. Now, unsurprisingly, the great acting here wasn't enough to get him an official pardon or anything, so it's still not looking great for Nicholas Alaverdian at the moment. And here's hoping he will finally face justice for his crimes that he is accused of. This is just an incredibly wacky fucking story, and one that's been, like, many years in the making. Like, I'm shocked I've never heard anything about it, because this really feels like a pretty high-profile case, but maybe I've just been oblivious to it, or it just never really got the mainstream attention, which is just surprising, because it is really weird. The whole thing is very weird. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit after finding the clip and kind of going down the rabbit hole. That's really about it. So yeah.